Good afternoon. This is Steve Pritchard, the dealer manager and VP of sales for Future POS, a Shift4 company. And I'm going to spend a few minutes with you today just to show you the version 6 back of house, or we call it back office web. So it's the new back office in version 6. We're used to version 5 and you're kind of migrating. So what you see here on the screen is the two-factor code that I need to get through my email. And that is done as dual-factor authentication when you first log in. So 775962. And instead of this being demoed on my local laptop, this is being done via web. So I'm in Ohio and I'm pulling data from Butler, Pennsylvania. So this is what this would look like if you open it up on your laptop or your tablet. That's why we're selling this as this is also the cloud. It's the same thing here. So let me walk you through some of the things in the back office so you understand. I can log on and off with that. That's over in the far right. Your account is listed there, which will allow you to change your password. And then you've got the part where your software is actually licensed. So this is licensed to Steve's Cloud Demo. Next to that, there is a little spyglass. And when you open that up, you can type a word of something that you're looking for in the software. So if you don't know where do rounding is for tax, you could type in the word rounding. And when you do that, it's going to find anything that there is the do rounding under system settings. Here's some rounding under media or items. So it's just a quick way to click that spyglass, find a word that you want to do. A lot of times if a customer's looking how to, change a button or a menu or something like that, if he typed in the word menu, he's probably going to get several there. But it might be for items, it might be for sections, it just depends. So just a quick way for you to search. Anytime I want to get back to my core menu, I click the Future POS logo in the corner and that refreshes everything. So that kind of explains that area in the upper right. The actual screen, obviously you don't see the icons that you saw in version 5. Those are all located in a drop or a slide out under the toolbar we have up the top here. So what we have here are what we call widgets. So this first widget just says welcome with whoever the user that's currently signed in, the version of software that you're on, and then we've created some informational. So an average turn time, year to date, month to date, and today's sales. So obviously I have nothing registered today, but you could create a widget like that to be up along the banner. And then as I go down, as you can see, I can scroll up and down. It just has different widgets or boxes that show sales, maybe in this case by department. Here's a line graph. As you move up, you could do something with a bar graph. So you can locate these and position these where you want. They could be in the form of a grid if you wanted to see something more like that. And then if you want to use them for informational. So I have one box that lists the most visited programs within the software. So it's usually, changing item prices, adding an employee, something along those lines. So you'll probably see those in there. So instead of having to find it through here, it's just on the main screen. One click and you're in. Much faster, much easier. The other widget, excuse me, that I like, or I call favorites, and I can drop whatever I want there. So if I'm a manager of a restaurant and I walk into the back office and I want to see what the weather's going to be like, and do I want to open the patio or not, I can click weather in Akron, Ohio, and it'll come up and I could get whatever web link you want. It's simply going out and getting a URL. So if I don't want to do weather, but maybe I want to click the Future POS website for whatever reason. So just know that you can put whatever link you want there. If I'm a sports fan, and I obviously like to do that, I want to go and see how all my Cleveland teams are doing. So it's just a shortcut that you can put in that area to get to. So they could be training videos, anything that could be useful for that restaurant. But that's really how the back office is set up. You could have no widgets and just do, a very small back office, or you could have all kinds of reporting that you wanted to set up there. But it's, scrolling up and down. And that's really all you need to do as far as the widgets are concerned. If you wanted to add a widget, it's pretty simple to hit the button that says Add Report Widget. And down at the bottom, it has created in this case, it's a report. And when I drop down, it actually shows. A couple months ago, they didn't have anything in here. Now I have all kinds of reports, and they're adding to those. So if I wanted to see sales in a department by employee and what kind of a layout do I want? It looks like that's the only one I have right now. I want to refresh it every minute. As soon as I hit save, I've now created it. There's probably no data there, but you can see it did not take long to create a basic report. So those are there if you want to use them. But that's kind of how we handle the widgets on the screen. Under the Help button, up along the top toolbar, is when I open that, it actually opens up a new tab and it opens up the help doc. This is your manual. So we've all had customers call and say, where's the user manual? This is it. Is it what they want? Probably not, but this is it. And it does get updated. So that's the nice thing about it. But same thing, pretty simple. I can click the back office. I can hit my maintenances, and I can hit, if I want to open up alert maintenance, it'll open that up. I can actually see it, and it'll tell you exactly what to do and how to do it over on the side. So simply a help button by hitting that help button. We were genius when we called it help. The tab next to it is called interfaces, and all that does is drop all the interfaces we have. So in version 5, it was a click. You'd open up your interfaces, then you double click. Here you're just looking general ledger or accounting, inventory, payroll, or the VDUs. Some of the common ones that they have under there are maybe the ad driver for digital signage, caller ID for a caller ID box, something like that. But nothing really much on the interfaces. They work exactly the same. When I go into the settings tab, we've taken everything that we had under the settings tab in version 5 and put it in the block and a drop down over here. We put things that were on the tray, in the tray utilities, and put other things under the general. So the ones you're really going to do are probably under your general and probably system settings or system devices. So, when you access those, if I would open up system devices, I can either look at printers or click on terminals. And again, everything looks obviously a little bit different than what it did look in version 5, but it's just different. So I can go back. They put what they call these little breadcrumbs there, and that'll let you, exit out of a program if that's what you're looking to do. Okay, but this would open up my system devices there, and I can see the terminals I have there, and at this point I could go ahead and edit or delete each one. I'm obviously on the web demo here, so I'm not going to make any changes here, but it's just a different look and feel. So again, that's what we have under the settings. If I would click on the reports tab is quite a bit different. Where you just saw an icon, you double clicked it, answered all your questions, and hit run. We've done this a little bit different. All the reports that you remember in version 5 are now referred to as legacy reports, and those are down at the bottom of the screen where it says legacy reports. Everything under is pretty much the same as what you had before. If I would click sales by serving period, I'm going to get the same kind of criteria: start date, end date, start time, end time, and then whatever options we've added during it. We've got an option that we can schedule the report up there, or I can go ahead and run the report down in the lower right. So pretty simple on the legacy reports. They probably will take a little bit of learning to figure out where to hunt and peck, because some of the things obviously have been moved, but everything in the legacy part works the same. Anything above the legacy lines are things that we've created with the report builder. So they could be a sales by department that's for sales, if I want a list of employees, and several of these are actually listed on the dashboard that we show on our main screen there. So this is new. We did not have a report builder in version 5. This is new to 6, and that's how we got all those widgets in the front. If I would hit the button that said Launch Report Builder, that would open me up to allow me to edit an existing report. So I could take the sales by range report. If I like the way it looks, but I want to strip off this and this and this, because I'm never going to use it, you could create your own report, and maybe it prints out as 2 or 3 pages. You can get it down to 1 or 2. If you want to create a new report, you can hit Start New, and that will actually go into creating a new report. We've seen some dealers have success with this. Other ones, it's a little difficult. I think you get 1 or 2 people on most dealer staff that'll be able to figure this out, and they're constantly making it easier. So it is evolved quite a bit since I did this in boot camp a year ago. So I won't get into this. We do have a tutorial on the report writer part, so I will not bore you with that part, but it at least shows a customer you have the ability to run the existing reports you had, or you can go ahead and do something in the report writer if you want to go that route. So that's the report side of things. Again, very similar. Most of the reports now can be either printed and printed out into a tray, or emailed to an owner. And that's really what I think you're looking to do in most cases anyway. You're probably not going to go run a manual report most times. So, but that's the reports tab. The last and final tab is the maintenance tab. And these are pretty much set into the most used, which goes back to, I think, version 4. Or we've got one that says other. So the others are the ones, obviously, that we don't use very often. Most of the stuff is going to be under the most used. And just depending on what you show in the back office, one of the ones I show is item maintenance, or items as we call it now. And that will open up that executable into what we call a detail view. So the item on the screen is a baked artichoke. You're seeing it in detail format. Notice everything here can be collapsed. I click details and it collapses everything. And then if I ever want to open it, I just touch it and it opens. It's pretty simple. Item details, very similar to version 5. You've got a regular name, a description. Things obviously are just maybe in a different area than where they were before. Some of the ways you link multiple things instead of just putting a click in each box in a section, like maybe making an item discountable with certain discounts. We do it a little bit different here, where when you populate over, it's going to show all the ones you have to choose from. And then if you don't want them, you can just X those out and just say it's only available for frequent diner, and you could go that route. So that's a little bit different. If you don't see any of the programming under one of the headers here, excuse me, you have an option over here that has a little wrench. And this is where you can actually look at the price calculator. Again, we don't know how many people do this. These are probably the more obscure things. But whatever they would be, your save as is over here. So where you used to have an F2 or an F4 button you could save or save as in version 5, it's now on the wrench over there on the title bar. So again, this is what the item looks like in a detailed view. If you click advanced, it looks more like maybe like an Excel or in a spreadsheet format. So here's all my items more in an Excel format. I can add a record, save whatever. I've got a total bar or a title bar up here. And it's kind of cool. They've got these little things that look like to me, they look like a martini glass. But I'm sure in code, this means something more. Filter. There you go. So when I click filter, I can do, I want the department to be equal to, and then whatever I drop down and say, I want bottled beer, go ahead and click the filter. And all I see on the screen at this point is bottled beer. So it's a good way to just go grab a group of items if you want to do a program. At this point, I can go ahead and I could go into each cell and make a change if I wanted to. If I wanted to look at one, detail as opposed to advanced like we had before, I could go that route. It just depends on how you want to go about doing it. So again, click the filter. I can do an equal to, but it could be not equal to. It's just you've got search criteria here that you can use. But again, if I say bottle, filter it. And I like to show this in the back office because it shows to a restaurant manager how easy it is to go find a group instead of having to, search through. But if I pull these up at this point, I could change a description. But if I wanted to go in and change prices, I could hit this button up here that says item price, and that'll open up the item price sheet for just the bottled beers that I searched. And here I can put my prices for regular, happy hour, game, event, band, whatever. And you can do all those changes there. And when you close those, you go ahead and close and they're saved. You do have a drop down. This is where your mass attribute's located, or what we call mass update. But if I wanted to change the default price and I wanted to add 25 cents to that, I could go ahead and do that, apply it if I've got all my permissions and everything set. And it does not look like I do, but you get the idea. That is where your mass attribute or mass update's located. So pretty simple. I think it probably is not letting me do that because it's the cloud corporate copy. But regardless, that is what I would show in the item maintenance part of the maintenances. Again, you've got to decide if that's important to show, if they want to see how easy it is to add an employee or go in and modify one. Maybe you open up the employee maintenance and again, show how the columns will collapse and kind of move around and do what you want to do there. So the other ones that I would probably show, I might show something in frequent diner because I like to talk about the loyalty. It's really simple to show. You've got a name of the plan and maybe we call it, spend $300, get $30 for a gift card. And I can go ahead and click on my levels and that's where I actually say, I'm going to do dollars spent. I think we said 300. My typing is not the best. And when I do that, I'm going to get a gift card for $30. Go ahead and save if it'll let me do that. At that point, I'm going to jump out. And that's pretty much it. That program is saved. So I have a frequent diner program. It's easy to show how, it just is not difficult to set up. Any of the other ones you could show, table maintenance, and you could get into sections if you wanted to do something like that. The webcam is nice to show. I think that diverts back to the version 5, so it's going to look exactly like what it did in 5. The employee schedules are good. So really, I think you want to get them used to just, clicking on the Future logo to refresh whenever they need to, explain the widgets in the back office and how easy they can add maybe a URL if they want to do something like that. make them comfortable with moving along the top on the toolbar there, so they get used to where their reports and their maintenances are. And really from there, it's something different and takes a little bit to get used to, but it really works and it's come a long way. The biggest thing is once they get used to doing this in the back office at their restaurant, when they want to go put it on their tablet, it looks exactly the same. So it's not a real difficult task for them to get used to. So again, cloud back office is the same thing as web. As you can see, it looks exactly the same here. So thank you much. I hope this helps, and have a great day.